guys, what is up? Welcome back to Empyrion Galactic Survival, Reforged Eden with Lone Debater 7, and today we're going to be taking a look at upgrading our our small vehicle rather, to being warp capable. So basically what I'm going to do to start off is I'm going to kind of shave some of this stuff out, because putting on the warp core is a giant ass block. Like if we take a look at the size of the ship now, compared to the warp core is literally bigger than our ship. So we're going to be adding a lot of blocks. So I find that it's easiest to kind of just whittle this guy down, kind of to bare bones, and start from there. I also built a couple of small jet thrusters. It was the highest tech level flight type thing that I could build, or best engine that I could build, I guess. So I figured, why not go for the best one? I built an advanced generator, built a shield generator, pentaxid tank, all the stuff we're going to need to kind of upgrade our small vehicle into something that's a little bit better. So I don't necessarily need to, take this whole fucking thing apart, but I'm gonna anyway. Like, we'll probably end up leaving... That can be trashed. So we'll just leave that. But I'm probably gonna leave like the CPU and stuff like that where it is, and use those blocks to kind of guide the placement of the warp core. But like all these thrusters, containers, and all this like shaping type stuff that I tried to do, that all needs to move. It's gonna be in the way. I could leave, you know what, I actually am gonna leave the light and the rocket launchers where they are, because I kind of like that at the front of the ship. So those can stay, I suppose. We'll leave the cockpit for now, but let's go ahead, we'll place a block like that, just so it's kind of evened out. I am gonna replate the bottom of that with something a little bit stronger, but let's go ahead and get our warp core placed. So we can try to make it semi-small, so like if we put the warp core like that, that actually fits reasonably well, the way our ship is built. So then we'll throw the pentaxid tank underneath. Like I said, I do have just a regular small generator, but I think I'm gonna use this advanced small generator instead, just because it does output twice as much power and it's only an extra block. So I think that's going to be a little bit better for us. We'll throw the O2 tank right under in front of that pentaxid tank. We'll throw the regular fuel tank right there. We'll maybe throw the RCS behind that. So those are kind of the bread and butter blocks for the most part. We'll see if we actually need this small generator. Like if I take a look at this, it has almost everything on it. Generated energy. Well, it doesn't have any fuel in it, huh? Oh, damn. I destroyed the fuel tank without doing the fuel, or taking the fuel out, so... Okay, that's fine. I just want to see... How does that... So, not very much. I guess we don't have the thrusters on there yet, so... as far as this stuff goes, I do want to throw the detectors somewhere in the middle. Probably like that. And then I can maybe put the thrusters on either side of the detector. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Kind of like this, so they're twin engines, like that. I do want to rotate this one, though. So we're going to do that real fast. And so I still have 4 small and 2 mediums. I'll probably just end up using the mediums, is kind of my thought. Okay. So there's our 2 big boosters. What I'm going to do is place our medium engines. That way they are ready to go. So that one will be used for stopping. And we'll probably end up putting a second one for stopping, if I'm honest. But let's go ahead and get left and right direction kind of figured out. So... put one there, and then we'll put the opposite on the top, and I think that will help our roll. So we still have 3 left. How's our CPU looking? We still have plenty, because I do want to try to put a small shield on this. So there's a second one for stopping, and then we need an up thruster and a down thruster. So those I think we will end up placing like middle of the ship, so like here on either side. So what block is that aligned with? Where this little bar is? Okay, so it's kind of like that. So I think that's going to do us pretty well. Like, let's just take a look. If I wanted to throw the shields on, how is that going to affect our CPU? So the shield is kind of a big block as well, but that is okay. Nothing wrong with big blocks. You just gotta kind of decide where I want to put it. I'll probably throw it on top of the warp core. It's kind of my thought. Yeah, there isn't like a... The only problem with that is this is a 3 wide, and that's only 2 blocks instead of 3. So it's gonna look kind of weird. How do I want to do this? I guess I could put it like that. What's the CPU at? Yeah, so I can't actually afford to have the shields, and that's okay. I don't really need the shields necessarily. I just wanted to see if I could finagle that in. Besides, we still need to put the containers on here for our ammo and our fridge, so I guess that's a little bit more important. I'll probably build that out and put it underneath the thruster again, so like... Or, well, that's actually probably going to end up being container controller space. So which one of these is the ammo? So I'm going to put the ammo up here. We're just going to give it maybe 1 container controller. And then I'm going to throw the regular one down here, just so there's a little bit more room on the bottom. It's the only thing I'm thinking of, but... So there's that. There's our fridge. So the only stuff that's going to take CPU now is just the container controllers. In Eden, placing like regular blocks doesn't actually take up CPU space, which is nice. That is, you know, kind of a perk. They did rework all the CPU stuff, which sometimes can be a ball ache, but for us, it's okay. How much space do we actually have in this? So I don't care about the ammo controller. There's definitely going to be enough in there. I can actually throw our ammo inside real quick. But I am curious about our container controller, because I want to have a fair amount of space. So it only has 375, which is not a lot. I do have another 9 of these, though. So maybe what we'll do... Well... I guess we could maybe use this for, like, wing shaping. So, like, the turrets are going to have to go out from where these thrusters are anyway. Otherwise, they won't be able to shoot forward. So, we could fill those in with container controllers. No problem. Okay, there's that. And since this is kind of like that, we'll do this. And then we can turn these into shapes. So I think I'm going to use the little rounded end for back here. Kind of like that. So there's that. That should give us a fair amount of container storage, I would think. So yeah, it's still only 375 volume. Why is our ammunition so big? Did I get those backwards? I did, damn it. Okay, well. We gotta dig out the other one. That's okay, though. So, take those out. I meant to have those the other way. Ammo controller, you go up here, please. And regular container controller. So now I'm not gonna be able to do that. Okay. Just gonna fly up. For 2 reasons. One, I need to put the landing gear back on. But the roll on this is fucking amazing now. Pretty touchy. Speed's a lot better. It is almost 70 meters a second, so that is an improvement. Not by a lot, but it is an improvement. So there's that. And now, if we look at this, yeah, we've got like 2300. That's way better. That is way better. I do just want to look. How is the power look at? Yeah, we're not even touching that generator. So great. Now is kind of the fun part. We still need to put the turrets on. I guess those will take a little bit of CPU. We have landing gear. We've got our wings, and then I'm going to take all of these blocks and kind of like fill this in so, you know, looks a little bit nicer. On the turrets, we are going to go the retractable design again. So I think, well, part of me really wants to put them like right here and have them up at the front. But another part of me is thinking, well, why don't I put them like in the middle of this block? So I could put them back set a little bit and then have the wings coming off like we did before. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. So we'll leave one space from the back. Then we're going to throw our wings. For these, I think we're going to use long tapered. Those are small. I think we are going to use these ones. So one on that side. We'll throw one on this side as well. Cool. So there's our wings. So reasonably wide. Not the widest ship in the world, but that's okay. I do kind of want to... I'm going to pull off that guy real quick. And we're going to pull off all this small plating that we've got. And upgrade that to steel. Just so... I want to have armor on this as much as possible. Just especially since we weren't able to fit the shields on with CPU costs being considered. So I could bring this down another level, or I could leave it flat like this. I think I kind of want to bring the center down a little bit. So maybe like starting here, bring back a full line. Then we'll use like a ramp, maybe. Kind of like that. For like the center of the ship. Well, yeah, I think we'll throw one more square block there. Okay, so we'll throw... Let's get these set to the landing gears I actually like. Put one at the front, obviously. And then, as far as this piece goes, I think we will kind of bridge these out. We'll probably taper this one in with a ramp. I should be using mirror mode on this, just so it builds a little bit faster, but that's okay. I also kind of want to have control over where the blocks are being placed, so not the biggest deal in the world. So there's that. I think it probably makes the most sense to have cubes like right here as well, so like full bricks. We'll maybe put the other two landing gear right there. So one there. I do need to bring the other one out. I hate that it forgets which one I'm using since it's obvious I'm going to use the same set. So there's our 3 landing gear. Actually, you know what? I'm going to move those back one more block. We'll throw those guys right there. And then I think I'm going to put the landing gear. So I want them all facing forward. I think it makes the most sense to kind of have them like that. Honestly, I'd rather have it wider, so we'll just add another block. Yeah, building in survival mode is not the best thing in the world. Most people will build in creative and then just template the build that they like or whatever, and do all that just so then you don't have to worry about running out of blocks and all that stuff. You can just build and get it looking the way you want. So, okay. We kind of have the general shape on that part. I do kind of want to work the top side real quick just before I run out of steel. So all of this, I definitely want like blocks on. I might put like a ramp in front of the thruster, but like this stuff, I want some steel on top of it. So for this piece, I could use these like, yeah, I need to move off the generator and the, what do you call it? The, warp core, because it will make you very hot if you stand on it for too long, which makes sense. But anyway, so maybe we'll do like 2 here. Well, I guess that's 3, but fine. Well, I don't want it going all the way across because I'm gonna put either ramps or those curve blocks to connect those 2 pieces, just so it has a little bit of a shape at least. And I'm just trying to make sure that stuff is, you know, armored a little bit. So let me turn this off of predators real fast on my turret. So let's just group stuff. Okay, that's fine. I don't think we're adding anything else. So apply to group. There we go. Now it won't waste my ammo, which I don't think I've actually loaded this yet, but still. We're gonna load it. So I don't want it firing off all my shells before we're ready. It's not really worth our ammo to shoot at, you know, garbage enemies. So there's our pentaxid loaded, and then in the oxygen tank we can fill that up with some O2 bottles. Cool. And I am gonna store the rest of these just inside the container controller that we've got. Cargo box, container controller, throw in these. I'll also probably put 8 of these fuel cells in there, just so we have some fuel on us. But let's do this. I think we're gonna build that out, something like that. Put a block on either side of these. Then I guess the question is, how do I want to fill in the rest? So I do have a fair amount of these carbon composite blocks left, obviously, because we haven't really used them yet, but I just want to make sure that our warp core is protected fairly well. Mainly because it's fairly expensive to build that block, and I don't want to have to build another. So let's maybe fill this in a little bit. Same with the container control. Like, I'm less worried about the container controllers, but also it'd be good to not have to replace those. So for this, I think we will use these round blocks, kind of keep with the design a little bit. So, or well, I really want that to be a little bit bigger, honestly. Just looking to see if they have the right kind of block. Doesn't really look like it, so alright, fine. I guess we could do a ramp here and ramp that upwards, and then I can maybe ramp these up as well. And then I think I'm gonna put that round corner, this guy, on the bottom, kind of like that. Gonna look a little weird because it doesn't quite line up with those ramps, but that's all right. So let's try that for now on that piece. I'm gonna put another one of these corners on top. Kind of like that. Sure. That looks, I mean, looks like trash, but whatever. We are going to fill this up with carbon composite as opposed to steel, because that will kind of be more or less interior stuff. Okay, so I mean, most of this stuff is pretty well armored, you know, all things considered. I think I will throw another square here, and I might do the same. I think I'm going to take out this container extension and throw another steel right there. Okay. Now we just got to decide how we want to connect all this. So this will probably be... I think that links to these. Yeah, it does. Okay, so we'll use those for the front. So, like I said, this is not going to be the best design. I've said it multiple times, I'm not that great at designing ships. But I'm going to give it my best go. I do need to hop out of the droney boy for a minute because there is a spider over here. And he's trying to bite our face. Like a douche. Come here, buddy. Get shotgunned. Okay. There's Spider Boy. Dealt with. I think we'll just use composites on these, and I'm going to use ramps. That looks reasonably good. Kind of like this, and where does that come out? So, right there. That needs to be a full block. Right? Is that lined up right? No, it's not. Not that easy to see, unfortunately. So I need ramps. 1, 2, and 3. Kind of like that. Then I was gonna do something like this, maybe. And do the same thing with the tapered off ramp. Like that. That looks decent, I think. Anyway, it's decent for me, anyway. Normally my ships, the goal is that they function. So this ship will definitely function. I'm not worried about that. I just am trying to make it look a little bit better than ass, if I can help it. I think I am going to swap this, the direction of this one a little bit, though. So it kind of tapers in like that. So there is a thruster right there, which is kind of unfortunate, because I'd prefer to have that as solid block. But there's not a lot I can do about it, unfortunately. We fly up for a minute. And I will turn the suit light on, just so we can see. Or, well, mainly so I can see, but so you guys can see if you're watching this back. And we will go ahead and plate the bottom of these with carbon fiber again. Same with the sides, and they do still, or well, that one still has a steel block on it for some reason. But I kind of like that, so we will keep that design. That actually doesn't look too terrible. Okay, so there's that. That's the front of the ship pretty much done. I need to figure out what I want to do there. I think what I'm gonna do is just throw a ramp, have it go up like that. The only downside is that is not a block I can mirror on the opposite side. So it's not quite even, but what are you gonna do, right? I will put a block on either side here, tapering in. Okay, so I think that's the front of the ship looking decent. Let's take a look at the back. Kind of slope these guys in. These ones, I'll just slope like that as well, I think. Now for the back, what I'd like to do is have this kind of ramp going up, and I'm going to do that all the way across. Like this, and then I can put full blocks right here. Well, actually, I don't really want full blocks there, now that I'm looking at it. Maybe just like a gentle ramp? Like that? That's okay. I think we'll try that for now. Though those container controllers are just going to be exposed. I don't really have a good way of covering them, unfortunately. Let's see. So I could stick with this ramp, and then there isn't really like a way to make it longer is the only thing. Because that, yeah, so I mean, that's just going to be exposed, I guess. The top is okay. We do need to bring the top forward a little bit, actually. So I will use steel for these 2 blocks. And we will go with these ramps. I actually kind of like that, the 2-part ramps. They look reasonably good. Is that facing the right way? No. Okay. Just to give it a little bit of shaping, at least. I mean, it's not the best shaping in the world by any stretch, but it's the best I can really do, so good enough, right? Okay, so we'll do something like that. I guess we can maybe fill that in with blocks as well. Or maybe this is where we can use these kind of ramps. Kind of like do something like that. Same with right there. Okay. So that's kind of coming together. Like I said, this ship is not going to be some world-class thing. But I mean, it kind of has a shape at least. You know, kind of. Not a great shape, but, you know, better than nothing. Then these, I guess, we will fill this in with 2 blocks. And I am going to put just a straight up ramp there. Whoops, but not facing that way. Like that. So it kind of slopes into where the back of the ship is, more or less. And then on this side, well, probably makes more sense to go with maybe not that block. I think it is this block that I want. And then I think there's this one? Yeah, this one. To kind of connect those textures up a little bit. So I mean, there's some slopies, which are kind of good. I think I will put just a little bit of paneling over that thruster. We'll put another one on the other side just so it looks the same. But where was that at? So at the top of the ramp. like that. And I mean, I think that's pretty much it done. If I had a bunch more blocks, I'd add them, I guess, but let's just see. So this is a lot slower now that we've added all these pieces, but should be fairly well defended. We do kind of need to readjust our zoom, but there we have it. That is our small vehicle. I think it's, you know, decent enough. Put away our turrets for a momento. So our up-down thrust is not great. So I might actually put the small thrusters I've got left over on top of the turrets or something, because those are just like square blocks. Turn that off. Just to give it a little bit more ability to fly. So let's take a looky. I want these facing down, I think. So we'll put 2 facing down at the front of the... Or, well, that's where the turret is, huh? So I can't really place it there if I want the turret to be able to fire in front of the ship. So maybe what we do is we nest it in the back somewhere. Alrighty guys, so this is the finished product. So we did finish building out our small vehicle with the warp drive. There is a 0x attack, but that should be fine. Not too worried about it. Anyway, so this is kind of what it turned out to be. So has our 2 15mm sentry guns on it. They're retractable, so I can pop them out there and it'll do its thing. Oh, transport. Those sometimes have good stuff. It looked like it has some rockets in there, which might be useful. It's got a warp core. We didn't have the CPU space, unfortunately, to throw the light shield on it. I would need to get some large optometrix bridges to do that, but it has a decent amount of storage space. It's got a refrigerator. It goes a full 69 meters per second forward, because we did throw on a third small jet thruster facing backwards. So anyway, it's decent. I mean, the shaping's not the best in the world, but it at least kind of has a shape, you know, that looks somewhat like a jet plane. So anyway, I'm just picking up, you know, the drones that are close by us anyway. I'm not too worried about grabbing all this other garbage, but the missile I will keep. Those can go in there. I am going to grab these other missiles that I built to kind of stock up the ammo for the ship. I do kind of want to build or make some food before we take off and warp somewhere, just so I know that we've got something to eat. We only have 30 AU's worth of warp distance as well, so we got to keep that in mind. Like, we don't want to... Alrighty guys, sorry about that. My game did crash, unfortunately, but we basically have this set up. I want to wait for some more of our crops to grow before we actually leave and warp anywhere, just so we have enough food to kind of take care of business and not have to worry about it. I did decide to add an O2 station and the mobile constructor to our little ship here. That way, if we're out and about and we're somewhere without an atmosphere, we can refill our oxygen tanks on the go. And then if we gather more pentaxid, we can actually make some more warp crystals without needing to be at a base. So that's kind of our SV. I mean, putting the O2 station and the constructor on this basically maxed out the CPU. Like, I think we have five CPU points, or like 75 CPU points left. So that's not too bad either. We could, in theory, if we go to CPU statistics, it's still only a T1 CPU. To get to a T2, I think we have to go up to the advanced. So, like, if you look in the tech tree, they changed all the CPU stuff, so I don't know if this is right or not, because I haven't really unlocked these. But they have improved CPU extenders, and I think you need one of these in order to get to T2, or maybe two of that. If you put two of them, you're definitely going to be at T2. But I think just putting one of these on with the regular basic extender will take you up to T2. So this is the ship. Not the worst thing in the world. It's still got the detector. It's got its rockets. We've got 61 of them, so not a whole lot of rockets, but it's enough. And actually, I think that this constructor can build the rockets for us too, if I'm not mistaken. No, I can't, but that's okay. We don't need to build more rockets realistically, but we can build some like basic food stuff, basic medicine stuff, basic gear. I think we can build the 15mm rounds for our sentry guns that we've got on this if we want, so that's good. But anyway, this is our upgraded small vehicle, and now can warp. It's a lot faster than it, or well, it's not a lot faster, but it's faster than it was as well. It's got more capabilities. When we throw on an advanced extender, we can then take a look at adding some shields to it, and then it'll realistically be in pretty good shape. When we do get the advanced CPU extender, we're probably going to swap these rocket launchers out for either plasma cannons or plasma guns. So like on the small vehicle weapons, you've got homing rockets, which I can't build these because it takes Zarcosium, but I'd like to put pulse lasers and plasma cannons on it when we upgrade it again. We could look at maybe doing a railgun as well. We might do a railgun instead of the plasma cannon. I don't know. It kind of just depends. Anyway, so that is how to upgrade your small vehicle to be warp capable in survival. Obviously, you can always go onto the Steam Workshop and download a template for a small vehicle with a warp drive on it, and it'll look a hell of a lot better than the one that we built today, or probably what you can build in survival, unless you're an amazing artist, which, hey, you might be. But if you want to see, this is kind of just my roughing it out. We need a small vehicle with a warp drive. Here's a small vehicle with a warp drive. We're ready, type of deal. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to like, comment, subscribe as always. And until next time, this has been Lone Debater 7, and we will see ya.